Where's Stuhal min Freyon and welcome to yet another video. Well, we have already seen the second episode of The House of the Dragon, my friends, and wow, it's still good so far. Well, that was unexpected, especially after the last season of the Game of Thrones, which I myself didn't mind that much since I don't consider it to be canon in the first place. Well, unfortunately for me, the true story will probably never be finished because George R.R. Martin will probably never finish the entire Song of Ice and Fire. But nevertheless, let us move on to the review of the second episode of House of the Dragon. Now, of course, I'm still rereading the Fire and Blood novel as of this moment. There are other things that need to be done in life, so I haven't finished rereading the book yet as I thought I would. So I'm rereading the book as I am watching the individual episodes, and well, yes, there are of course differences between the books and the TV show, and because I'm an avid reader and a fan of the source material, as I always am, I'm going to start with the changes. Now, many people are, of course, reading in the comment sections under each and every of my videos, like, you changed so they changed the creative freedom. Yes, but if I love the book, I will address the changes, whether you like it or not, in nitwits. Alright then. There are some not huge, but there are some differences. There are some tweaks that they are doing to the individual characters, especially to the characters of Rhaenyra, Viserys and Daemon. Viserys here is what I noticed a bit more afraid of the war, or the potential war, or the potential struggle with the free cities, which in the books he wasn't. Here, he specifically says that he has never had any problems in his struggles with the free cities, that they are not strong enough yet, and that he does not want to risk a war, a conflict, which, of course, in the books, it wasn't mentioned, but I don't think that in the books he was as much afraid of the war or any conflict or struggle with the free cities as he was in this episode. Now, the second change that I noticed that was quite big and quite understandably in today's world, is, we know why they did that, was concerning the stolen egg that Daemon stole. Well, he stole it in the books as well, but the way how the egg was retrieved and got back to King's Landing was very much different. Viserys basically ordered Daemon to send Mysaria back home. Just sort of, Mysaria, sort of, you cheap lady, and Daemon give the egg back. So, and he did. And then, of course, kind of fixed the relationship, or, well, not fixed, it kind of changed and moved the relationship between Viserys and Daemon in the source material. But here, well, guess who was the hero of the day? Of course, it was Rhaenyra, who came on a dragon. She faced her uncle and very bravely retrieved the egg from him. He gave it up because he, of course, has feelings for her, and by this she was able to mock and put down all the men around her, because they are all useless. Sir Otto Hightower couldn't have done it without her, and Daemon would not heed the order of the king Viserys. If it wasn't for Rhaenyra, none of this would have been accomplished. It is, of course, absolutely understandable that the female protagonists will have a much stronger role than the men, that they will be much better than men in all the ways possible in this TV show, and then the men will all look and appear as completely useless nitwits, of course, and weaklings. King Viserys is looking a more and more of a weakling each and every episode as we are progressing right now. But of course, he was never, not even in the books, he was never as strong and mighty and storm-like as Daemon. But still, we can see that the show is taking it to yet another level. But that was to be expected, especially after what was said by the producers and by the showrunners and by the actresses. It was all leading up to this. It was writing on the wall. So that was the one change that I didn't really enjoy. And the last change wasn't a change really. Well, it was a change, huge change actually. As far as Missaria goes and other characters, female characters especially, they are being very much de-aged, which of course did not happen in the Game of Thrones TV show. Now, of course, we know that in both A Song of Ice and Fire and in The Fire and Blood, some of the characters are much younger than they appear, or than we would expect from them, especially then, I mean, in a Song of Ice and Fire. So, for example, most of the kids of Ned Stark in A Song of Ice and Fire were in their very early teens. Jon Snow, I think, was about 14, so was Robb Stark, so on and so forth. Daenerys Targaryen was 14 when she got married to Khal Drogo, who was 30. And here, it seems that they are making some of the adult characters older, and some of the characters who should be, well, kids, they are making them even younger. Such was the case with Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra, not the kid of Corlys Velaryon. And of course, Missaria as well. She should be older, I think, in the book. And keep in mind still that I'm still rereading the book. I haven't finished rereading it, so I might remember some of the things incorrectly. But I think I'm pretty much correct as far as this goes. So these were the major changes that I really did notice. The major changes that happened in the show from the book as opposed to the book. And now to the show itself. Other than that, looking away from all the changes, it's a very good show, and I'm very glad, I'm excited, and I'm happy to the core of my heart that the show is very well made. The cinematography is good, the visuals are great, the script is very well written. There are no lines or sentences that could be crossed out, there are no cringy sentences. All the characters are very well played and portrayed by the actors. If we are talking about Viserys or Daemon or Rhaenyra or Corlys Velaryon, who was of course race-swapped, and we all know that, but it's the same case as with Rhaenyra Targaryen. We expect certain things in the entertainment industry of 2022, and those things cannot be avoided. And the race swap of the House Velaryon was inevitable, of course, especially after what they said before the release of the show. Now, there are some videos on my channel, please check them out. This is not a matter of this video, this is a review of the show. But I also like the same thing that was the case with the Game of Thrones. It looks very good. The costumes, the weapons, the locations, the sets, even the CGI, it's all very well made. And especially then, I I was excited to see some of the locations that were shown in A Game of Thrones, but of course, Game of Thrones is about 150 years later. So, for example, I was excited to see Dragonstone more or less abandoned, or less crumbled up than it was the case in A Game of Thrones. So that's what I like a lot. And of course, there are some member berries. There are some things for the normies to enjoy. At the very beginning of the show, in the opening credits, well, guess what? Ramin Djawadi's main theme from the Game of Thrones is there, and it brings memories. It brings that nostalgia when You know, we all loved the Game of Thrones when it was starting. Even book readers such as myself, I enjoyed the first 3 to 4 seasons of the Game of Thrones. And I never skipped the intro. I never skipped the opening credits because they were so good. So that brought some memories back. So other than that, I am glad that it is doing so well. I hope it will be doing even better, because this show needs to defeat the Rings of Power. Because unlike the Rings of Power, this show, the House of the Dragon, is an adaptation. An adaptation of a book, and it is clear that it is an adaptation. It is taking creative liberties, of course. It is adjusting itself to the standards of 2022, yes, of course. But still, you can bloody recognize that this is an adaptation of the Fire and Blood book. Whereas when you look at the Rings of Power, and my words shall be proved right in a couple of days, has got nothing to do with the source material. Alright, let me know in the comments. I'm sure I forgot about a million billion things. But hey, these were my general thoughts and review of the second episode of House of the Dragon. And let me know in the comments down below if you liked it. The episode, I mean, the second episode, or if you are looking forward to the third episode and so on and so forth. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm out of here.